that's broken. It's very broken B7, and what really... Yes, I know you're broken. Down goes the drip pan. The BMW, it's as much aerodynamics as it catching crud. Oh dear. Oh my.
You're not going to faint, are you?
Way back in 2007, a much younger, much fitter, and much less indebted Hoovie was just getting introduced to the BMW brand. I was hired on in that year as a salesman, and during that time, the coolest new car to ever come across our dealership was this, the 2007 Alpina B7. I remember when it first came in, it was a black one just like this, and I spent countless hours just drooling over it. I was in love with it at first sight, this $115,000 luxury sedan. And before this, I had never known that Alpina even existed. But now, as the years have gone past, I've become much more familiar with BMWs, the good and the bad. And while I've certainly aged quite badly during this 13-year span, this Alpina B7 has fared much, much worse. It's really bad, but it was only $3,500. Now, there's a lot of reasons why the Alpina B7 is special, starting with the fact that they've never made a BMW M7. BMW's in-house tuning department has never built a full flagship model M model. They've done sports and other things, but never an M7. So the Alpina B7 is the closest that we'll ever get to it, but Alpina is a completely independent company from BMW. BMW and Alpina have been working together for over 50 years to make some incredible cars, but you've never seen Alpinas being formally sold at dealers in the US because it would compete directly with the M3 or the M5, and there's a few exceptions. One was the Alpina Z8, but that was sold in very, very small productions. The first Alpina car to ever be widely sold in the US is this Alpina B7, but still, it's not very common you'd come across one of these first Alpina B7s that were sold in the US because they only made 800 of these in their 2 years of production. So it is a pretty special car, and Alpina did a lot to this thing to make it cool. Now the Alpina is much more than a pretty face with its body kit. See the Alpina down here, the 21-inch BBS wheels. Now I have 3 out of the 4 wheel caps. They just got taken off during shipping. And then this crazy spoiler back here. This is really neat, but there's a lot more to the Alpina than just window dressing. Interior-wise, look at this matte wood. It's really popular today to see unglossy wood in cars, but back in 2007 this was pretty unusual. Let's pop the hood. Look at that Alpina badge. Now the hood struts are gone, so this is going to be a little bit of a workout. Here we go. Now the Alpina B7 got a lot of great parts from BMW, the full sport package with the 7 Series and the V12 brakes, despite it being a V8 car, just for better stopping power. But Alpina threw a lot of their own stuff at it. Kind of like AMG, Alpina hand builds the V8s themselves. They beef up a lot of the internals, the head gaskets, and that's because they put this giant Alpina supercharger on it, and that sends this V8 to 500 horsepower. And back in the day, that was almost the same horsepower as a 2007 Corvette Z06. And this thing's quarter mile time was faster than a Porsche 911 Carrera S, all in a giant flagship sedan. Really impressive. That's broken. But even more impressive is how this thing gives you all the power and how it drives. It's amazing. All right, just pulling away in this very broken B7, and what really... Yes, I know you're broken. But what really impresses me about this car is the fact that it gives all this performance, all this feel of a much smaller car, but it completely preserves the full luxury experience of the BMW 7 Series. It pulls hard, but so does the Mercedes S600. But what's really impressive, what this thing has over the S600 is the handling. They've tightened this thing up to where it feels, like I said, like a much, much smaller car. So you're probably wondering why this thing was so cheap, and if you're looking at Alpinas for sale on AutoTrader, why they're so cheap in general. You can find one of these with around 100,000 miles for 15, 20 grand, and really nice low mileage ones in the mid 20s, which doesn't make any sense. That's not too far off from a normal 7 Series of depreciation. And this thing is rare, it's fast, it's beautiful, so what gives? And well, what gives is the car, because this is a BMW from the dark ages of BMW quality, and unfortunately this V8 that they hand built got the same valve seals as all the other BMW V8s that were plagued with issues. When the valve seals go, it sends oil into the combustion chamber, smokes out the back, ruins the engines, takes a $100,000 car and makes it a worthless smoke machine. Which is exactly what happened to this car. My friend bought it for only $3,500, and when it got here, he realized how much was wrong with it, and he punted it to me. Now, they replaced the spark plug once in this thing so it could run well enough, and that's when they realized the valve seals were bad, but that plug is probably already fouled now, just not even a week later, because this thing is misfiring terribly. It really is a shame that this generation of Alpina was built at the same time when BMW was at its lowest in a quality standpoint, but still, it's a $3,500 Alpina B7. I don't know how much it's going to cost to fix. That's something I could have probably asked before. I know you're broken. Quit binging and bonging at me. I probably should have asked Johnny this before I committed to purchasing it, but that's what we're going to do now, is find out everything that's wrong with this 7 Series. Now, you could buy one of these for, like I said, 15, 20 grand with 100,000 miles. This thing's only $3,500, but it has 170,000 miles on it, so it's probably only worth 10 grand sorted on its best day. So if the repairs add up to too much, well, I'm gonna be upside down on this thing. Huge, huge. But it's an Alpina. It's the cheapest Alpina in the USA, and it is smoking like crazy. Oh yeah, that is one mad BMW. It is quite angry. Hello, Johnny.
Tyler?
You were just about done with my 760 over there.
Yeah.
And then I go and, hello. What do you think?
I love it.
You said that about the 760, and then you told me later that you hated it.
Well, this is better.
I agree with you. It is better. You've already been over this thing because my friend Rob bought it and then brought it in here, and then you scared him away. But I didn't really ask how much everything was, and you didn't dig into it too deeply as far as everything else, just the valve seal cost.
Yeah. Well, we got the sound system.
Yeah, that's why the dash was all tore apart,
Yeah.
so now that's fixed.
That's fixed. It was just a missing fuse, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, we know about the valve seals, and then we lift it up and see if there's anything else.
I'm sure there's other things. This is the highest mileage one I've ever seen too.
Yeah.
170,000 miles. All right, let's do it. Down goes the drip pan. The BMW, it's as much aerodynamics as it catching crud. And that's quite a bit of crud, because, oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh my. Well, looking past all of the goo, this is pretty cool. Is this part of the intercooler here?
Yeah.
Alpina definitely does a lot when they transform these cars, and this is the intercooler, which goes, I guess,
All the way up.
all the way up like a radiator for the supercharger. Yep, Alpina. And I'm seeing a lot of other weird stuff in the back of this car, but first, all these leaks. Holy moly. Where do you even start?
Same as your 760 is the bracket for the alternator.
Oh, I see.
And obviously your timing covers, which they're going to be replaced anyway.
So a lot of these seals that are leaking tons of oil would be replaced when you take out the engine.
Yes.
Which is this guy right here, right?
Yes.
You're so proud of this table. Now you have the opportunity to use it to
Use it, yeah.
drop this thing out.
Your AC belt is missing somehow. Probably had cracks and you need a special tool to put it on.
Oh, so the belt just fell off and they never replaced it.
Yeah, probably.
On a $115,000 Alpina B7, the previous owner just ran this thing into the ground.
Your control arm bushings, they're pretty cracked. So
Right here.
this one is even worse.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Great. Look how coked up that alternator is too.
Yeah.
It's amazing that's still working with all the oil there is on it.
You got plenty of brakes.
Well, that's good.
No transmission leaks, which is good.
Right. And it looks like you have a special finned pan, right?
Yep.
Because Alpina. So Alpina's doing a lot more than just dressing things up.
Alpina exhaust.
Alpina exhaust.
You got plenty of brakes in the back, so I guess that's it.
Oh. Well, there's another little cooling thing for the differential. Look at that. What's this extra thing for? Just for cooling, huh?
Yes, it's massive.
Wow. That is beefy, as the wizard would say. This tire looks okay. This one
is gone.
Oh. Yeah, I'd say I'd say so. Yeah, that's a almost disaster right there.
That's it.
You got a little bit of math to do.
Yeah.
That was very quick and efficient, but the things that I'm seeing that are broken look expensive. Oh yeah, that's very necessary. So hood struts are on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's the top of this intercooler. That's just really neat. Unfortunately, I'm missing the pretty engine cover that would have said Alpina and covered all this up. I found one online. It's like $700 or $800. I don't know if I need it for $700 or $800 used. How many of these valve seals do you think you've done with BMWs?
I lost count.
Hundreds?
I lost count.
It is pretty much 100% failure rate on
Yes.
this generation of engines,
Yes.
isn't it? Shouldn't there be something here?
Well, there is a cover that goes right here, and there is like a tube or like a.
Because this.
It's for your cabin air filters. Actually, the filters are in the trunk, but
Oh.
the rest of the parts.
Oh.
This one works.
Yeah, that one works. Oh, okay. So it's all here.
Yep.
So you can put that back together?
No, not really, because there is the part that goes from here to the firewall that is missing.
Oh. So that cabin air filter in this box is actually kind of important because it keeps all the engine bay gases, especially with a leaky engine like this, from getting into the cabin. So now driving this around with the climate control on would be probably toxic and dangerous. And somebody drove it around like this for who knows how long. What a disaster. And how the mighty have fallen, huh? This Alpina? Guessing my bank account is going to fall mightily as well once you add all this up.
It's not gonna be too bad.
Here's Johnny trolling the
Yay.
wizard again. No private islands or Rolexes or yachts, just the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So you're making a charitable donation
Yep.
with a portion of this bill that you're about to present me?
You ready for it?
Yes.
You're not gonna faint, are you?
No,
Sure?
I am battle hardened now.
Okay.
That won't happen again. And this better not be $18,000 like the Murcielago.
No.
No.
But it's not cheap either.
Lovely.
Labor alone, it's almost $2,400
For all of it?
for all of it.
For the engine, you're taking the whole thing out, you're taking it apart, putting it back together.
Mhm.
Okay, well that's not awful. How are the parts?
Parts total, $2,100.
$2,100. That's not, for head gaskets, a lot of seals. How much? Because the head gaskets are special on these because it's supercharged, right?
Each gasket is $321.
Ooh, $600 for gaskets.
Yes. Just
Wow.
for the head gaskets.
Wow. $5,041. So you've got all the little things on here, the bushings for the suspension, the serpentine belt for the AC. You already troubleshooted the radio, so I have to pay you the $70 no matter what.
Yes.
Grand total, $5,041.79. So this thing's worth maybe $8,000 to $10,000 on its best day, all sorted. And I'm going to be right there with the purchase price and the repairs. So this is a really bad investment because it's going to break again. You're going to put it all together and it's going to be like the 760. It's just going to go over and over again. It's almost 200,000 miles on it.
BMW, right?
Yeah, this is really dumb. I should say no, and I should set this car on fire and dig a hole, but it's an Alpina B7. It's an Alpina B7. It's my dream car. Well, it was 13 years ago. Now it might be my nightmare, but we'll see. Thank you for watching.